Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daption, and today I'm going to be your host for today's educational commentary. I'll be explaining everything that I'm doing and thinking just so that you can apply it for yourself in your own games. Today I'm playing YUNARA into Jhin, and we are playing in Masters Elo. So, specifically for this matchup, a lot of people think to themselves like, oh, we have a hyper carry where we can just like hard fight, and so level 1 we should hard fight. The real answer is no, we should not fight. My support is asking me when we should fight, so I'm gonna go ahead and let them know. They were kind of tweaking, so whenever somebody gives you the meets you halfway, you can go ahead and like, you know, tell them what you think of the matchup. And so now I'm going to be hitting the wave just so that I can get prio. Leona is a champion that can't exactly engage level 1 that well, because if she levels up her E, then she's kind of left to the wolves for the rest of her engage kind of being shit. So we can kill the Swain. That's why I am pinging forward. They kind of griefed. That was really good. So the reason why I wanted to all in, oh my god, my CS. Oh my god, my CS. It's okay. We just want to make sure we get this wave in. Okay. Might I mention that it's the first game of the day? I just missed 6 minions. But the reason why was because Swain had just missed his E, so that means that he has no abilities. And so that skill is called ability matching. Whenever somebody uses their most important spell, you want to look for something that's like aggressive, because if you don't, you're just giving them an out. Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I should have definitely let them hold the wave, because I was in the nose that I could not push that wave fully. It's okay. Definitely not ideal since we had a lead but then weren't able to push it and get our crash off. But in those situations, mostly you want to make sure that you get as many minions as possible and then get the fuck out. The other thing is, I knew that there was a Swain E coming, so in situations like that where you know there's a champion that can literally just like pull you in and like kill you instantly, you just want to flash the ability. I don't know why. Well, I do know why I didn't do it. I just wasn't focused enough. But in the future, these types of flashes are what's going to save you from having to deal with a shitty lane. For example, had I flashed, only my Leona would have died, so I would have been okay with that outcome. Whereas right now, me and the support ended up dying, which actually puts them ahead in this lane, even though we kind of fucked them up level 1. So, you know, job's not over when you just get a kill, okay? That's honestly one of the biggest parts of League of Legends. You don't have time to catch your breath. I know it sounds very cliche and corny, but it's the truth. Like right now, even though we are laning, I'm focusing on where the enemy jungler is, because now it tells me that, for example, this guy's most recent buff was blue buff. And so because of that, tells me that their jungler had either taken my jungler's top side or he paths to top. I believe that he did take my jungler's top side, because it's a little bit of a blue buff that's missing, but I'm not even 100% sure myself. Yeah, this is the annoying part of this matchup. Like, whenever the wave is in front of their turret, we have to be very, very fucking careful, because if we're not, this shit happens where my conditions are now fucked. So we have to be on the back end of whatever is happening right now. Their jungler should be bot side at this point, because remember, if their jungler was top side for 2 whole minutes, guess where he's going to be now? So I'm going to let the wave come into me. We don't really have any kill potential at this point. In fact, they have kill potential on us because they outrange us, right? So when somebody, turns out that the Lee Sin decided to stay topside. Maybe he thought that my Nocturne took his bot side, but regardless, he's kind of griefing because he should be able to get his entire bot side with the way my Nocturne played. You know, people are going to make mistakes like that. Ugh. Help. I might be dead. Okay, I'm not dead, but we know that there's no ward in the tri-bush, which is why I'm pinging for our team to... Okay, they just trapped this. It doesn't really seem likely to look for a gank here, so... The issue is my Nocturne doesn't really have a way to get on them. If he was level 6, I would 100% go for this. I'm gonna ping my support on when I need them to help me with... Oh, oops. I auto-attacked by accident.
I have fulfilled my destiny.
Ah, he didn't know that it was warded, so... Okay. The jungler should not be topside again, so... Guess where he is? Bot side. And if he shows up topside again, he's fucking trolling. This is... yeah. Not sure about this one. Okay. So... oh. Should fight. Oh. What? Okay. Kill this guy, please. Okay. Well, if you're wondering whether or not that was worth it, it was definitely worth it because my whole team had moved to the play. And so, even though I ended up dying, I ended up getting a decent amount off there. So, ooh, that could have been pretty bad. Ooh, she's dead. Now that's not something I could have accounted for, right? So, and even when I'm mid as ADC, like I have to make sure that my team is taken care of, like unironically, because if I'm not, like, kind of focusing on what the... Okay, hold on. There's a Swain running straight at me. And I don't really want to... I mean, I can't walk up. There's literally a Swain right there. I should have held my E because it's my only escape. And I also don't know where their Anivia... Okay, now that I know where their Anivia is, I feel more confident in walking up. But previous to that, like, if my team is pinging me to walk up, I'm not in the mood to walk up and die, you know? So... okay. Now me and my Leona have level 6, so if there's ever an angle to look to all in, I'm gonna try to look for it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. She's got one more stun. This guy's dead. I can keep chasing, but it won't be much. The Jhin has no ulti, which is why I'm like fine with taking a little bit of a trade there. We saw their Lee Sin top, and unfortunately, I've literally just been information gathering this entire fucking time. So I'm sitting on 1k gold, so I really want to get a base off. I can't push this wave in, and so on the next wave when my Leona comes, I'm gonna have my support to help me push. Only issue is now the Swain, okay? Swain has ulti. We have no fucking ults, okay? So each turn, I'm just constantly thinking like, okay, where is my support? Where is their support? Where's everybody on the map? And can I use what I have, like pieces on a chessboard? Can I use them to my advantage? If the answer is no, then I want to kind of like back up. Okay, well, I might be dead. So the reason why I'm engaging here is because I have my jungler on my side, which is pretty simple, right? Oh, I was autoing a minion. Sorry about that. If he lives, it's kind of my bad, unironically. Nice. We can look for the Drake. Reason being, even though we're on a ward, our Mel should be ready to come. I'm constantly thinking again about my ADC versus support and then what else is on the map, and then I'm making a decision based off of that. Now, I might be on a... I think I am on a ward. I think I'm going to get cancelled. Yeah. Okay. So this is pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna lose an entire wave for that. But at the same time, I helped get Drake. I'm fine with losing one wave and like 2 plates. Okay, 2 plates is too much, but there's not much I can do at this point because my Leona ended up going top. I didn't ping her off. I do need my support to come bot eventually.
An ally has been slain.
A silent, unavoidable destruction.
I don't need my Mel here. I more so need my Leona. This is worded, so it's not really gonna be a play. See, I'm waiting for my Leona to make an actual play with. And now their jungler had to have done his bot side. Ooh, I might be dead. Okay, well, I did prevent myself from dying there. Granted, that was a really sad succession of events. 100% would have loved to hold any of my summoners or ultimate. I do need my jungler to come bot. I have no fucking mana. Okay. So you guys see how I was so ready to look for that fight? Like, go back and look at why I decided to fight there and when I decided to fight there, because it's really important. I need to be careful of LeBlanc. She could just appear on my screen and kill me. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh, Daption, why are you overextending here? Well, I'm actually not. Actually. And I don't want to stay here for the plate because I'm going to get canceled by a fucking Swain W, which is really fucking sad, right? But at the same time, I've gotten canceled one too many fucking times this game. I am not even 10 CS per minute. So my goal is hyper carry, is get as much gold as possible. The kills are secondary, unironically. I mean, that's for any ADC, mind you. A lot of people have the mindset of like, oh my god, I'm going to look for so many kills. But I played this one game versus the ex-LCS ADC for DSG. His name was Scary Jerry, still is. And I was playing YUNARA into Ziggs. And so every single time I would look for a kill, he would make me suffer. Like literally every single kill I get, he would either make me lose HP or die. If I die, but I get a kill, it doesn't matter. Because if I don't get the wave, I'm actually behind. And I actually ended up being like 40 CS behind on him because he was playing a Ziggs as a mage and he was just farming waves and then trying to kill me or trade kills. We should not really look for this because we don't have the information to actually make this play possible. Okay, now we do. Maybe dead AF. That's so sad. It's because we don't have Ignite. That's my bad. I wasn't really thinking about that. Yeah. That's another thing I wasn't really focused on because honestly, versus champs like Swain, you don't need to have anti-heal early, especially because it doesn't actually change anything. Like, unless they have high HP markers, which, you know, he has a full item, the anti-heal doesn't really do too much because they literally instantly die in a trade. Also, we saw that the Jin's plating came to this bush, so I knew that he was either staying in this bush or he was accepting the fact that I was canceling him and he was trying to cheese me. But he was either not staying or, yeah, exactly that. I gotta go. I was not thinking about the person I was gonna match. That's really sad. Okay. You're gonna get cancelled, sweetie. She didn't get cancelled, sweetie. There is a LeBlanc in the bot side jungle, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful.
Longing, hope, all shaping my action.
Again, job's not over just because you either got a kill or you're coming back to lane. Constantly have to be thinking about the variables around you. I'm not turning off my brain. This is really scary, so I'm gonna have to focus the frick up. Yeah, because if I messed up even once, I'm dead.
Shut down.
Okay. So those pings were specifically for my team because this is what you call a... This is a technical cross-map play. So my team was
Culture as
ready to fight something, and then I pinged. Oh, I should be going bot side. What the fuck? And then I had pinged them that if they don't die, we'll just win something naturally, right? So that's why I need them to just give. Okay, this is kind of scary. Okay, we just got Drake for free because they didn't want to walk up and contest. I'm praying to God that I'm not on a ward, because if I am, I'm gonna be in some big trouble. Oh my God, Swain is so fun to play against. Because usually you don't have to worry about shit like this. Like, you just tell yourself, like, okay, I'm basing on awards, so what? But versus champions with like longer range abilities that can stop your base, like even a Jinx ult, right? Like,
a curse that if left unchecked.
it's gonna stop your base and your tempo is just gonna get fucked. So I'm gonna be going Infinity Edge this game. I didn't go through my other items, but Kraken Slayer and Fiend Thunderbolts are literally just staples on YUNARA. You have to go them 99% of the time. So if you're wondering why I did that. Now, the third item is the most variable. If I'm playing versus high HP, like tanks or bruisers, then I'm gonna go LDR or Mortal Reminder based off of whether or not I need an anti-heal. And then IE if I need just straight up damage. Hex Optics if the extra range actually helps me. So look at their champions right now. I'm playing versus two mages. Auto attacking consistently is not going to be my forte, you know? That was basically my thought process behind it. We should 100% be looking to deal as much damage in the shortest amount of time possible. Yes, we should be taking Rift Herald. I just wanted to check if the Raptors were up this entire time. So because they fully committed to going bot side, it just gives us a free Rift Herald. So again, constantly looking for information. And then if the information leads you to a result. So for me, I saw that the Mel was by herself and everybody was bot side. Rift Herald was up. So if my team just decided to do their camps and do nothing, I would be the one to ping, hey, let's fucking, you know, do the objective. So this is not, yes, this is not a mid-wave for me to play on, and that's something
Could have been.
that a lot of players don't understand. Like, sure, I can walk up to this mid-wave and, you know, just kill as many minions as possible. I also have to understand when it's okay for me to walk up. So now that my Leona's on my screen, now I feel a lot more comfortable, right? Whereas before, if I walk up and there's literally anybody on my screen, I might just die. So we do have to understand that. We have Rift Herald, and we saw them top side, so therefore we're going to go into bot side and Rift Herald.
A fate that I have not earned is one I cannot accept.
See, it's pretty simple. Block for me. See? Nice. So even though I got like hit by a shit ton of abilities, we had so many numbers on this side of the map that it didn't even matter. That, I mean, preferably we hit. Oh, Oh my god.
all the harder.
I didn't want to flash there because if I have to flash, it's kind of, how do you say, very fucking sad. I do have to be careful of the LeBlanc. It's not showing on the map right now, so. This is fucking terrible. Just run, just run. It doesn't matter who dies here, it just needs to not be me. Genuinely, that should be your mindset when it comes to these situations. Because if you're the one that's dying, you're the one that's not farming. And if you're not farming, then there's something fucking no. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not like opposed to fighting. I just need to fight on my... This is gonna be bad for him. Okay, this is called a dead timer because I can't even get this fucking midway, so I'm gonna take my jungler's wolves. I've gotten this question many fucking times. How to look for camps. And think about it, right? If you go on the mid wave and you're useless, or you go to the bot side and you're useless because my support was late to the map, then just go ahead and take camps. Like, whatever is near you. If it's the enemy jungle camps, you have to be a little bit more careful. But at the same time, so like right now, no, we do not want to. I mean, our top laner is just dead, so I have to make sure I get this mid wave. For some reason, they're scared of us, so I'm taking advantage of that. Like, I'm not gonna just let them. Okay, we should just take the Drake if they're not gonna contest at all. Even if we lose plate stop, it doesn't matter because we're gonna be on soul point. And if I was to go top, it would take me so much fucking time that we might actually end up losing the Drake. So that'd be very... So right now they should be in top side. So there you go. My team making a play bot side actually makes a lot of sense. But now we have to be a little bit careful because yes, they should be in our top side. So dying here is like a big no-no. I accidentally locked my camera. If we see that the Anivia's by herself, by the way, we should go. Pretty simple. Give me my cannon. Okay, there you go. So why did I make that play? Go back and look at exactly what I did. Information, and then I just went for it. Information, and then I went for it. So always try to make sure that the plays that you're making are advantageous for you before you even make them. If you're just making every play that comes on the map happen, you're gonna win some, and then you're gonna fucking lose a bunch, okay? So when your team is just pinging you to make shitty plays, take it with a grain of salt. Take everything that everybody says with a grain of salt. You, unironically, need to have a mind of fucking steel when it comes to your own decision making. If somebody says something and it interests you, of course you can look into it, but you should never just blindly listen to somebody else's opinion just because they said it, or just because... Oh. Should keep going. Let's try it. I might be dead. Oh, that's really sad. Okay, another thing that really caught my eye, because I played with Blabber like 3 times yesterday, and I noticed that every single start of the game, he will literally just type "good luck, have fun," and I have not seen that in literal months. Like somebody just typing "good luck, have fun" in like a high elo game, and so it really got me thinking, like, wow, is that really like the difference? The answer is no, it's not the difference, but it definitely feels better, you know? Like when somebody is positive on your team, you know that you can rely on them for either positive energy or, like, you know, they're not immediately going to tweak when something goes wrong. I'm sure everybody here has been a victim of you make a mistake and then everybody and their mothers just decide to get on top of you and start beating you up like it's a bad girls club like episode. If you don't know what that is, it's okay, but you just need to know that, wow, this Anivia is low-key yapping the fuck out of us. This game is pretty over. Like, I'm just gonna walk to the Nexus and kill. But if there's anything that you took out of this, it should be that every single play that you make needs to be with information that you have. Like right there, was I making that play thinking about just the Anivia on my screen? Absolutely not. It was always, there's a LeBlanc in the base, unironically. So go back and look at that. And I hope you enjoy this type of content. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoy this commentary, come check me out at youtube.com/Daption. Otherwise, hit the sub button. And I'll see you next time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daption, and I will be the host of today's educational commentary. In this commentary, I'll be explaining everything that I'm doing and thinking about so you can apply it for yourself. And I'm going to be playing YUNARA versus Vayne, and we're playing in a challenger game. So in this bot matchup, a lot of the time people will be very upset since they're playing versus double mage. Granted, this is a very hard lane, so my job as YUNARA, as a hyper carry into a mage, is going to be to try to conserve my conditions as much as possible and then be equal CS or maybe even down 10 CS. That is your goal. Now, how I'm going to do that is if the enemy gives me prio, a lot of the time I will just 3 of crash, get a call, come back, and rinse and repeat. I'm going to try to not be in lane for as long as possible, because if I am, I'm going to die. So if that's not possible, you always will try to, you know, dodge their abilities, even if you lose CS, which is why losing about like 10 CS in this lane is probable. Other than that, my support matchup is also losing, so a lot of the time my Nami is going to just be like walking back. She won't be able to like contest the Zyra too much. We're going to see a lot of that. And then for the rest of the game, we're going to talk about threats. So in terms of threats, obviously the Z ultimate is going to be a little bit of an issue. If I am being walked at by the enemy Mundo and I don't have ultimate or E, I'm going to die. Nico ulti, we're going to have to find her flank. Otherwise, team fighting is impossible. And then just waiting out the big arcade is also really important. So other than that, let's get straight into it. So their junglers showed topside. It looks like the map is going to be split. So if you're wondering why I walked up for that auto, it's because autoing is going to give you more stacks than hitting, or autoing champions is going to give you more stacks than hitting the wave. So that's why whenever the enemy walks up for an auto, I will always look to trade autos with them just so that I can have this stacked up in case they want to contest prio. And Vayne is stacking up pretty nicely. I am taking a bit too much damage from the Zyra, but that is to be expected. Getting hit by a few Qs is okay. Getting hit by multiple Qs is not. And I'm going to be going E second because dodging spells is a lot more important than actually hitting a W here. You could have gone W to proc the Vayne's first strike, but since I don't think that's as important as conserving my HP, I'm going to be going my usual W second. Okay, again, my job is to make sure I am sitting in lane, which is with as much gold as possible, and I'm going to take a base here. Now, usually it's not that good for you to take a base early on when you have an enchanter, because enchanters want to stay in lane as long as possible. Now, when I base here, I will automatically lose some EXP on these minions because they should either slow push it and we're going to miss the 3 melees, or they're going to hard shove it and I'm going to miss like maybe 1 or 2. Now, if they do a middle ground, we might end up missing none of them. So let's see what happens. Okay, we ended up missing 1. Not that bad, but obviously as a enchanter bot lane, you always want to make sure you're getting as much as possible. Now, other than that, make sure you're setting up your own CS, or if you need help with the CS, you are pinging for it. But their jungler did invade our top side. I was looking at that as I was walking back to lane. I saw he had 3 camps, and our jungler also had 3 camps, walked into his top side, and nothing was there. So, long story short, the map is split. Our jungler should be on bot side. Their jungler should be on top side. We're going to see what happens. If he contests this crab, the enemy jungler's bot. If he doesn't contest the crab, enemy jungle's top. Or he could do the worst of both and not be present at either. Okay. Oh, I just missed my cannon. Oops. Yeah, just be careful with that when you're CSing with YUNARA. Like, the splash damage is going to catch you off guard a lot. Okay. That is fine. We're going to run past. What this is going to earn us is... Hold on. Okay. Well, my Nami should have blocked that Q, but that's okay. What should have happened was Nami, instead of like walking behind me at full HP, she could have blocked the Mundo Q, so I wouldn't have gotten slowed. She would have never died there. And instead of the Mundo getting a kill there or like getting a gank off, we'll have wasted time for the Nefiri to be able to clear camps. It's a pretty classic play in competitive, but if done incorrectly, you do end up getting griefed a bit. So in the future, you might be considering to yourself, okay, maybe the option, instead of walking up and hitting there, you could either ward before that or just not go for it at all. The answer would be go ahead and get vision before you're making the play, because unfortunately, even if it's bad for the Mundo, if you end up... In theory, that play was bad for the Mundo, but in practice, because I died, it's worse for me. So getting information before you're making the play is extremely vital. So I'll be doing that from now on. Now, I am still equal CS. Actually, I'm up CS. And we walked up and EW'd so that he has no first strike. The jungler should be pathing topside because he was bot side and he didn't clear his bot camps. So now Zyra is going to want to prevent us from being able to ward there. She didn't. So what I want to do after this is I just want to hit the vision cone up and just see what's going on in the jungle, because something weird could happen here where their jungler could just open. Yeah, exactly. He can open bot side and just completely throw what should usually happen through the window. We don't see the... Yeah, exactly. So just run. There you go. So that's why the information on what's going on is so important, because, again, their Mundo, because he ganked us earlier, has some free time to do whatever the fuck he wants. This is not really that good of a play, so I'm going to walk back. I mean, we just don't win, really, so there's not really any point in us playing like this. And my Katarina is just going to lose a mid wave, so don't really want to do this. Yeah, so when the wave is coming into us, like, they have a choice as to whether or not they want to, like, walk up and fight, which is why I pinged the Katarina off. A lot of the time, people will just stand there and let these ganks happen. Like, your Katarina is going to hover, and it's your job, okay? It's your job to... Oh my god. It's also my job to be CSing, but... I messed that one up. It's going to be your job to pick them off, because if it affects your lane, then you could have prevented that, pretty much. Ow. Okay. Now we're going to want to get vision of the river before we walk up. And then I'm going to try to walk up. Okay. And what I mean by walking up is I'm going to walk into the bush and try to bait their spells. So that Zyra just used 2 pretty big... hold on. Pretty big spells. Okay, I'm kind of getting fucked up, so...
An enemy has been slain.
I'd have to play back. We see their jungler pathing into us, so... I can just take a base, honestly, and I will, because this is just impossible to play. Their... Zyra is just making my life pure hell. Go ahead and get your base in, and I will be building Kraken because it's the most OP item on YUNARA. And again, it's okay to be down, you know, 10 CS, but anything more than that, there's an issue. She's gonna die. It's unfortunate. Okay, I want to fight here, so she gives me E, I'm gonna just run in. Oh my fucking god. Please no. Thank you. Okay, because the wave is pushing into them, I need to make sure I'm getting this crash off. I would like my Nami to stay, because not only does it help with her EXP, it also helps to push in the wave a little faster. So again, because it involves my lane, I'm gonna force myself to ping, even though it's a little annoying to have to ping. There you go. We just got a decent amount of shit off for that. And even if he's holding it, it's fine. Like, there's not much I can do at this point. Let me just go ahead and walk all the way back just so that I can get my base off. It's not as bad as you think. Like, this should be a freeze, but because the Zyra ended up holding the wave, we don't lose too much. And now I will be going Recurve Bow. And you see, because the Zyra walked up here and pulled that entire wave, I don't have to worry as much for what happened. Now I'm taking into account where maybe the Zyra had warded. I can also be a little bit scared of this because she could have walked all the way in. So now I need to determine where the Zyra is before I walk up. So I'm not going to walk up, right? Okay. She could have easily been in that bush, and a lot of people will literally just go in and start CSing the wave, when in reality, the enemy just had control of the wave. So if you walk up, also, thank you, Zyra, for taking that entire plate to yourself. Really appreciate it. I'm going to hold my ward because getting a ward in the tri-bush doesn't matter as much as getting a ward in the river. It's just how it is. Also, I will be going Emax second, which is kind of a confusing thing for a lot of people. So if you get a lot of advantage off of having extra movement speed. So this game is just a game of dodging, right? I will be dodging cleavers, I will be dodging Nico, I will be dodging spells from Veigar and Zyra. Like, it's just a dodging game. So because of that, Emax second is going to help me quite a bit with that. It increases the duration of your movement speed buff and the actual percentage of the movement speed buff. So it's quite a bit. I'm not going to word that, but there is going to be either a Zyra in that bush, or they ended up basing. So I think they ended up basing. So again, I am not stacking a wave into double mages. They're just stronger than I am. So if I can get this base off, I'm golden. Actually, fuck. I should have walked up and hit the turret. I'm lucky. Okay, well, doesn't really matter too much because I can get this wave anyways. Oops, wait. Okay, these mistakes happen where out of habit I ended up maxing I went forward there because my whole team was behind. I waited until they were on my screen. And you can honestly go back and watch the whole play because it is like a really good example of like what you're supposed to do in a gank. So I waited until so my screen was around here, right? If I wait just a few seconds and I'm gonna hit this plate too because their Veigar shouldn't have TP, or it should be coming back up soon. Okay, I'm getting that plate because of the grubs. So I was over here. My team, once they reached this area, I started engaging. Otherwise, if I start earlier than that, I am just engaging 1v2. Did I need to cleanse? Not really, not really. That's like an overplay on my summoner spell, so that's something that you can look out for. Like when your team has a bunch of ultimates and they're behind them, like just don't use all of your summoner spells, you know, or don't even use your ultimate. At that point, I did use my ultimate, so that's one resource used. I didn't need to use anymore. So that's just how you should be thinking about it. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the cannon, because again, going down 10 CS is okay. Oh, that's gonna hurt quite a bit. Okay. I mean, we're winning lane now, so if my Nami goes and roams, I can't really play the game. Yeah. I should have noticed that a little bit earlier, because that made my game a little bit harder than it had to be. I do want my jungler bot. They should base, so if they don't base, we can fight. If they do base. Ow. I mean, I don't want to be the one to walk in first, but if nobody's walking in, like, I'm just kind of forced. They should have taken the fruit and they should be staying. I think they just cleared a ward there. We should be fighting the Drake. Don't just give that shit for free. Checking the HP, it's half HP. I need to wait until they show before I can actually walk up. Again, I still have to wait. I can't walk up. This is just so bad for me. Like, my Nami just has to flash. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, their bot lane lost an entire wave, so. Ow. I missed. This is bad. If I landed my W, that would have been really good. I should just W next to the wall so that it lands no matter what. And I still do have ultimate. It's just a little bit difficult because if I misstep one auto or one click, I will just die. So that's why I'm like always, you see, like I'm autoing and I'm trying to click back. I'm autoing and I'm trying to click back because do I not do that, I will just die. Okay. I will just go mid now. And so no, you should hit the turret. The reason why I'm going mid here, also I'm building Fiend Hunter bolts because these two items together are literally one of the most broken combos on her. Having your ultimate is really important, and Fiend Hunter bolts literally gives you ultimate haste, which is like kind of illegal, low-key. Like, just the fact that there's an item for ADCs that can do that is actually viable, more so than Hex Optics. Or not Hex Optics, sorry. Hex Plates. So now we are... Oh. Okay, well, this part of the game is not in my hands. Like, what's going on on the enemy team, like where they're moving, is not my prerogative. Like, but this is definitely like a situation you want to be thinking of. Like, their enemy Veigar is dead, and now you want to make sure you're just walking up with your nuts hanging out, because if you don't, you're kind of trolling. That's a Nico. Again, remember, Nico is one of the champions you really have to pay attention to, because if you don't, you will just die. Same thing for team fights as well. I just missed 2 minions, don't mind that. And now we're on 2 items. So everybody is honestly ahead. Interesting. Everybody's ahead, but... Okay. But that doesn't mean that the game is over. A lot of players, okay, one of my biggest pet peeves is when players just decide, okay, we're ahead, so okay, this is just a bad play, okay? So look, your job as an ADC, or as any like lane, honestly, it doesn't matter what lane you're playing, like when you see a bad play, you should be the one who's pinging it, because you're doing nothing. I was literally walking to lane, right? So I have the mental capacity to be able to ping people. Granted, they did end up dying, but imagine where in a situation where you can ping, you don't end up pinging, and then your team dies. So Katarina is trolling just a bit because she pinged me to not take the red buff and then ended up taking red buff. And hold on.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Okay. I want to basically like play strong now. This is no point in the game where I should be, or not no point in the game. There's not a point in the game where I should be like really scared. Okay. All we have to think about now is, okay, next play is going to be Drake. How are we going to get to the Drake? Do I need to base? Do we need boards? Like, there's... Oh, I missed my EW, but you should die anyways. I'm hitting the wolves because it'll splash onto the... Nice. They should both die. If I land that W, I might have flashed him. But there you go. Like, my team pinged on the way to blue buff, and then we saw the Veigar, right? And if Veigar's there by himself, and I have EW and I land it, right? We then have a CC just to follow up and like just hit them, right? If the Veigar doesn't flash my EW, he will die. It's really cool that with YUNARA, you can just afford to... We should just base, don't hit the Drake, and then get good tempo. So the reason why I don't want to just go ahead and hit Drake is because now they're going to all be running towards the Drake. And you see how much gold I'm on? Do you see this shit? If you go to a Drake with this much gold in your pockets, you are basically running in New York, like Times Square, right? With basically $2,000 worth of cash bundled up in your pocket. Do you want to be that guy, that girl, that they? Like, it's really difficult to actually justify that kind of play, I would say. So we have to wait until Katarina shows. I'm gonna throw my W and walk up. Okay, we need a word. Really good. We need... Okay. Again, remember, flanks from Zed and flanks from the Nico, or what I have to care about. I see the Zed, I see the Nico, I'm walking up. See? Like, that should be your checklist, right? And the second we found all of them, R forward immediately. I should have honestly done it like 2 seconds or half a second later. So basically, YUNARA ultimate fight. If not, you know, don't. And we ended up staying afloat. We ended up having a bunch of CS for the actual fights themselves. And then we're just able to climb from that, you know? And let's look at my CS in comparison to the enemy ADCs. And I was up 37 CS. So if you like this type of content, you know, follow me on youtube.com/Daption and twitch.tv/Daption. And thank you so much for watching. Otherwise, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and have a fantastic rest of your day.